Now you trying
Oh,
to
yo, I'll fucking grab the baby and let.
now you trying to say that you walked in there looking for Tashika. I didn't hear no response, so I grabbed my son and I rode. No, she was in there with the little boy. He came in and cracked her.
She encountered a visibly distraught Alonzo, who confided, "My girl on the floor."
First of all, that's not your girl.
My girl, was that y'all ex?
That's not your girl. She got a whole new nigga first. It's not your girl.
Accompanied Alonzo back into the apartment to confirm his grim discovery. There, she saw Tashika lying lifeless on the floor, her face obscured by a pillow. Upon removing the pillow, it became clear to Teresa that Tashika had passed away. Overwhelmed and shaken, they both retreated from the apartment and immediately called 911.
Why you outside? How you get it? You kick the door in?
On the call, Alonzo's voice was fractured by emotion, his words tumbling out in a frantic plea for help, the specifics of their location getting lost amidst his distress.
This is what happened.
It took every
Y'all was good. Y'all decided to co-parent and everything was good. And they say months later, she married a new nigga. Then all of a sudden you go in there, and then y'all was good, but then when she found a new nigga, now all of a sudden
You pop up, go over there.
she dead.
How you get in there when you got in there, motherfucker?
Speaking of haunting, this video is sponsored by R.
Grab your son.
She probably told that nigga, look, you can't keep calling me like that. I'm dealing with somebody.
USPS never says
Bitch, what is this about my son?
That's spam from
No, it ain't, bitch. What you want? Get that pussy
They
again.
likely got your information.
Now you mad.
Or data leak on the dark web.
Because that's how niggas be too. Bitch, you ain't shit. Then bitch find a new nigga. Now you mad, you gonna kill it. I was watching shit on Baltimore. And Tony 2 times shit. Y'all Paul Light. Some nigga, bitch, they was together for like 15 years. They moved on though.
Which are companies that are in the business.
You get a new nigga going like, this ain't not gonna fall though. I know that nigga's in there. Cause they gonna park his belt with it. Shoot the Lord. I said, it's a bitch. Tom, they gave you that 45 years. This motherfucker, man. That bitch still here fucking somebody. That ain't said she ain't supposed to. Like now you got 45 years, man. You should let that shit run its course. If it was meant to be, then if it's meant to be.
And when it does, it can turn your life upside down.
It's a commercial.
When both my mom and husband had their identity stolen, it was a wake-up call for me. When I did a review on my own information, I was shocked at how much detail was out there. It was alarming. R uncovered more than 18.
What's up with y'all doing early in the morning?
Hey Henderson, I really want some Papa John's pizza at half price.
Who would? When Gunnar Henderson hits a home run, Papa John's pizzas are half price the next day. When you order online and use promo code GH50, Papa John's.
Yes.
Your American dream starts with purpose. Find your purpose at GCU. Visit gcu.edu.
Yo, this shit kind of crazy.
That's where fast you going. I gotta get his ass down here, yo. See, I got 10. Rest of the day, mother give me
To the
5 more.
Dorchester County's Emergency Services line.
Still be making my shit.
You gotta calm down, honey. What's going on? Where? Take me right.
About 3:30. Abby laying on the floor. My baby mother's laying on the floor.
Alonzo Dennis struggled to make his words clear. His voice
Smoking at 9
choked
o'clock.
by fear.
Actually, it's 10:30 here, but actually I've been smoking since 4 o'clock. I smoked and went back and sleep and woke up at 6 o'clock. Took a shit, smoked a little piece of J I had, laid back down to 7 o'clock.
Alright, well, partner, bitch.
Thanks to the quick thinking of the neighbor, Alonzo managed to relay the address to the emergency operator, who promptly sent officers to the scene. Upon their arrival to Lily Grove Apartments at the 2300 block of Hudson Road, Alonzo was there to guide them to Tashika's doorstep. The officers instructed Alonzo to remain outside as they entered the
Just sit your bitch
spot.
ass right there. Don't keep telling us what to go at, what to do.
Inside, everything was meticulously arranged, with no sign of disarray from the entrance through to the living room, suggesting a tranquil domestic life.
Look, that shit clean as well.
The grim discovery was made
You call that
entirely
mad
Everything in the
motherfucker.
bedroom.
her body,
She got her own little
lifeless
spot.
and battered.
Cute, new nigga, baby.
her face.
She ain't beef with your goofy ass. Yeah, she ain't beef with your goofy ass. You just mad.
But sadly,
Y'all got custody arrangement, all that
Tashika
shit.
Levon Askins
But you
was
man,
born on
you
August
jealous
3rd,
though. You
1980.
say like in bed that gonna make a fuck your girl. That ain't your girl
Known
no
for her
more.
reserved nature, those close to her
Smash
were
that like button,
invariably
show some
drawn
love.
to her fun-loving
Where y'all
and
tapping
silly
it from?
personality, which made her a joy to be around. Raised in
My mama
Cambridge
got
by
big
her
nipples.
devoted single mother Diane, Tashika grew up in a household filled with love and resilience.
Tiny and grew up
As
in
Diane's
that
only
Magnolia.
child, she
God,
ensured
the
that their
dirtiest
home
mother
was
in
a
the house.
loving and warm environment.
Screen door, barely holding
This
on.
loving
Pretty though.
setting helped shape Tashika into
Big ass
an
dimples.
affectionate
Right,
and spirited
right.
individual cherished by all who knew her.
She
In
cute.
her teenage
Man,
years,
short.
her striking beauty and charismatic
Yeah, she's
personality
cute without them. She
made
got
her the
pretty ass
focus
smile.
of many admirers. But it was in her freshman year of high school that Tashika felt the stirrings of
Yes,
a deeper
sir.
connection, believing she had found her soulmate
Where
in
they supposed to
Alonzo
be at?
Dennis, a charming
Mine's
soft
is at
woman
work.
with a passion for wrestling. To
Yeah,
Tashika, Alonzo's appeal was undeniable, beyond his athletic prowess. It was his physical appearance that caught her attention. She thought he was cute. According to Tashika's best friend, Danielle, Alonzo was always
Oh, yeah,
around
cute
during
too.
their high
Took some
school
big ass
days.
glasses off.
And over the course of their high school years,
Ain't no bull.
Diane's home became a welcoming
She was
space
cute,
for
though.
Alonzo and Tashika's growing bond. Diane regarded him as almost a son. After Tashika graduated from South Dorchester High School in
Man, he
1999,
did that shit, man.
she began pursuing her career in healthcare. From a young age, she knew she wanted to help others. Even as Tashika
What?
pursued her nursing assistant degree, her relationship with Alonzo flourished. Soon after, the couple would move in together. When she turned 20, Tashika and Alonzo were ready to embark on a new chapter together, parenthood, as Tashika was
She
indeed
went to
pregnant.
school, you know.
The
Yeah, she
announcement
came-
of their
She
pregnancy
came up. She had a little fun in her teenage years. She got pregnant and started taking life serious. Got her little job, went to school, got her apartment. Okay, you still want to be a knucklehead? No, she probably still want to be a knucklehead. No, she I ain't got time for that shit.
When she got pregnant, she probably broke up with him, that's why he wouldn't do
With
nothing.
each passing day, the anticipation of their child's
I
arrival
love what y'all
heightened.
do.
Then on a memorable Easter Sunday in 2000,
Hey,
their joy was made complete with the birth of a beautiful baby boy.
That's true.
Alonzo was
Wow,
by
for this shit, Billy.
Tashika's side every step of the way, welcoming his son into the world with open arms. From that moment on,
Why y'all
he
break up?
embraced fatherhood wholeheartedly, becoming an exemplary dad. Friends often remarked on his devotion, just as they celebrated Tashika's pride and joy in her new role as a mother. By 2001, both Tashika and Alonzo had found their footing in their respective careers.
I don't know where y'all
Tashika
from. Where
was
y'all
working
from?
as a certified nursing assistant at Mallard Bay Nursing Home, and Alonzo in a
What's up,
position
bro?
that
Drop the
he
cash
excelled
app for me so I can pin it.
in. For Tashika, her son was the center
Put the
of her
cash
universe,
app and
motivating
everybody send
every
a dollar.
decision she made and every effort she undertook, all aiming at ensuring he had everything he needed for a happy and prosperous life. However, the bliss they found in family life was
Y'all
not
hit that like button.
to
Show some
endure.
love.
The challenges of young parenthood began to weigh heavily on their relationship, introducing a stress that neither was fully prepared for. Their union was soon tested
Yo,
by
what's up?
trials of infidelity, including the jarring news of Alonzo expecting a child with another woman. Faced with such
See,
deep
you having another baby, you got another
Tashika
bitch.
found the strength to make a heart-wrenching decision.
That's what I'm saying. That's
She
why they
decided
broke
to
up.
dissolve their romantic ties.
His baby, she pregnant with, he got another bitch pregnant.
Yeah, that's why they broke up.
To establish a
Oh.
co-parenting
She broke up with him.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they broke up. She found out he had another bitch pregnant. That's why she said she was able to let the ties go. We're going to come to together to co-parent.
Yeah.
Presence in his son's life.
And everything was cool. You got another bitch that's pregnant. I moved on. I got another nigga. You couldn't take that.
Seemed to maintain a
'Cause that's why they broke up.
between them, affording Tashika
Yeah.
moments
You had a whole other bitch pregnant.
every other
That's
weekend.
crazy.
This newfound space allowed her to enjoy leisure time,
But,
connect with friends outside of work.
Yeah, I ain't in no relationship. Finally in no relationship. I can really come back and get back to being me and just chill, do me.
To herself,
I ain't gotta worry about nobody. What's her
Tashika
name?
spent time
There we go,
with
buddy.
a close friend from work, Lisa. They shared a deep connection, frequently turning to each other for guidance and insights, especially regarding their romantic relationships. Lisa was facing challenges in her long-standing relationship with her boyfriend Richard, and found invaluable support in
I ain't made a
Tashika's
pen. I don't
advice,
even know you all.
seeking her
Hold up.
perspective to navigate the
there.
difficulties of ending her troubled relationship. During the spring of 2004, Tashika was in the beginning of a new relationship of her own.
Yeah.
But on June 7th, this facade of normalcy was abruptly disrupted following a seemingly ordinary weekend just after Alonzo's time with their son. Coinciding with her mother Diane's birthday, Tashika had enjoyed a day filled with shopping and celebration, blissfully unaware
That's all
of the
that
dark
bitch
time
moved on and
her
wasn't
life was
worrying about you no more.
June 7th.
And that shit drive motherfuckers crazy for them. Motherfuckers think you need them and you dependent on them. Motherfuckers think me thinking that shit. You sure I don't need you? That shit drive motherfuckers crazy.
Ascending up the stairs to apartment 302, he was met with an
No,
unsettled
he probably
silence.
living his best life.
Tashika's front door was
Before she met that nigga, probably still sticking over there getting pussy.
Oh,
All that shit. You feel me?
He came upstairs, he was under, his door was
He
unlocked.
ventured further, scanning the living room and the kitchen, yet the silence persisted.
Oh yeah.
Tashika, he called again, his voice echoing through the emptiness.
Come kill it.
His heart sank as he neared Tashika's bedroom, where he was confronted with a horrifying scene. Tashika lay on the floor, her body still. In a panic, Alonzo scooped up his son, dashed from the apartment, and dialed 911. Breathless and shaken, he struggled to articulate what he had discovered to the operator. Assistance from a neighbor enabled him to provide the crucial details. Immediately following, he urged the operator to take swift action. Awaiting the arrival of the authorities outside Tashika's apartment, Alonzo guided the officers to the unsettling open door upon their
Stop telling
arrival.
me, stop guiding me, please.
Officers arrived
I
knowing the
was
scene,
yeah, but the
so
door
they proceeded
unlocked.
with caution, finding the apartment in pristine condition, a stark contrast to the grim discovery awaiting them.
All that work was right there in the bed.
Tashika's bedroom bore the brunt of the violence,
Yeah.
her body marked by brutality, her face and eyes bludgeoned.
That nigga probably was over there to
The
get
officers
this.
immediately searched
Yeah,
for
he
any
beat
signs
that
of
bitch and
life,
gouged her
only to
eyes out.
confirm the devastating truth. Tashika
That nigga probably went over there to get his son or some shit. And nigga probably came in there trying to rub on shit about she, yeah, she probably said, what you doing, chill. That's why he got mad when that nigga, when she got another nigga. You know them niggas always try to slide back in his pussy.
With an escalating sense of chaos outside Tashika's apartment.
Talking about the door was just magically open. Nigga, she got a whole baby in that bitch.
Door unlocked.
Why the door unlocked us?
In the midst of
The
this
fuck's wrong with you? It's a single mother with a whole baby in his bedroom. The
Fuck
fuck?
baby in the bedroom.
Fuck the door unlocked for? That don't even make sense, cuz.
When
That
asked about
man.
his relationship with the victim, he
You
responded,
go to prison, don't worry
"She's
about it.
my ex and a mother of my son," promptly identifying her as
Old enough.
Tashika Haskins.
To fuck your mother, but
As
young enough to
emotions
bag
ran
your
high,
bitch.
Tashika's
Slow down.
father arrived on the scene and was permitted to enter the apartment to make a formal identification, a somber task that fell to him in the wake of the tragedy. The devastating news of Tashika's death was relayed to Diane by Alonzo's sister through a tearful phone call. Diane, in a state of shock and disbelief, hurried to the apartment complex where the sight of
Yeah, I
numerous
don't blame
police
you for
cars
that. That shit
starkly
don't make sense to me.
confirmed the reality of the situation.
This nigga talking
Upon her
about the
arrival,
motherfucking
the
door.
death
Just
of her
come
grief
pick the
was
kid up.
intense. Surrounded by
You come
flashing
there.
lights and somber
Those
faces,
suspicious are door
Diane was
unlocked. So what made
consumed
you
by
try
an
to do it?
overwhelming sense of loss and the haunting question of who
Tell
could
me
have
he was yelling
harmed
at
her
the door,
only
at the
daughter,
window. To New
the
York.
child she had poured her heart
Bitch, you
and
figure
soul
why you
into
saying when I on the
raising.
door? Why you yelling?
In
If
those
she know you
disturbing
coming,
moments,
you should've just called her and told her I'm out
truth
front.
set in. Tashika
That's just 2003. They had phones back
The
then.
emotional turmoil.
Boost Mode was a
as
church.
Tashika's sister, Nakia, begged the officers to let her into the apartment.
Who this nigga
However,
think he talking to?
The request was denied in an effort to spare her from the harrowing sight.
I don't
Amidst
know,
the
maybe.
heartache, Tashika's father took on the difficult role of supporting both Nakia and Diane, agreeing that it was best for them to avoid the distressing scene
Yeah,
upstairs.
that's crazy.
In the process of examining the apartment, the homicide detectives found no immediate signs of disarray
What's
until
up,
they
my nigga
stepped
JJ?
into Tashika's bedroom. There, the scene shifted dramatically. A large pillow had been deliberately positioned to cover Tashika's face and upper body, signaling a struggle
Alright,
had
Julie.
occurred. Two detectives, trained in the nuances of crime scene analysis, this detail was telling. The positioning of the pillow suggested personal connection between the assailant and Tashika, hinting at the perpetrator's emotional distress or their
Told me,
unwillingness to
Steve, I
confront
told you that. Dude, I told
of
you.
their actions.
Bitch!
The chaos
Yeah,
in the
that's my
bedroom
nigga.
indicated to detectives that
Hey,
Yo, these
she
niggas
had
is
a large
crazy.
wound on her forehead.
Bang that bitch. Bow! You bad as a motherfucker.
And red
Bitch, I
fingerprints
can't get no
were
pussy.
visible on her neck.
And he realized he hit that bitch. He probably hit her harder than what he thought he hit her. That bitch probably went down. He like,
There
shit.
also appeared to be dry
You know, he
blood
just probably
on her
panicked.
neck. These
You know,
injuries
well, you
led
panic, I gotta kill this
detectives
bitch
to
now.
believe She may have been bludgeoned to death.
One,
However,
one
when one of the
Ah,
detectives
he-
checked the whites of her eyes, He immediately noticed small red and purple freckle-like spots.
I know she was
This
smoking.
immediately steered the detectives down the path that Tashika was likely strangled to death.
Yeah, she was
instead.
smoking.
In their efforts to preserve the evidence, detectives promptly secured
Thought she died
Tashika's
from
hands
bludgeoning.
with
Nah,
evidence
he
bags.
beat her head after he beat her head after she had to smother
That
that
pillow,
ass.
that motherfucker, yeah. So she smoking the fruit.
And they took photos to capture the scene. Given the presence of the large pillow, strategically concealing her
crazy.
injuries
Big ass
and
pillow on
no
her face.
forced entry
What's
into the
good, what's
apartment,
good?
the homicide detectives quickly became
Me too, bro.
confident that Tashika knew her killer. They determined that
It was yo.
she had to have let him in. When the coroner arrived to take the body, the detectives turned their attention to the clues that were present in the apartment.
The door was open.
The
No,
bedroom
wasn't, bitch. Somebody had to
First
move
you
it.
say you got into the door, so what made you turn the door down? The door shut.
Bitch, y'all is not that cool wearing those
She ain't
shorts.
asking you, so that's why
Let's
I'm
try the door. Y'all ain't that cool, bitch. You heard me?
The bed covers in disarray, and the unmistakable imprint of the sole of her
Cause y'all what she told you in the beginning. Just come on in.
These clues led the detectives to theorize
strangled
that
that bitch, crazy.
Tashika had used the dresser for leverage in a desperate attempt to escape, suggesting the attacker was behind her, and she was
Trying to
fighting
hold
back
herself up,
with
trying to run,
everything she
grab
had,
that ass.
kicking and pushing against the dresser and him in a bid for freedom. As they scoured the apartment for clues,
No crazy.
one detective's attention was drawn to an anomaly in the otherwise orderly space. An orange juice container on the counter and its cap lying separately on the kitchen floor. This detail seemed inconsistent in an apartment where everything else was
It's
meticulously
neat like a
placed.
motherfucker.
There were no dishes on the counter.
Told you, everything neat like a
was
motherfucker.
wiped down. This was highly suspicious to the detective.
That's cause no, he probably said,
Calling
let me
over
have a
his
drink.
partner, both detectives
Got some
agreed
juice.
the scene was
That was
peculiar.
what he did. She in the bedroom, he probably tried to sneak up and go, what the fuck you
No
doing, cuz?
dishes out of place,
Top
and
on
every
the floor.
surface cleaned, yet the misplaced orange juice container and its
That
cap
motherfucker house
stood out
spotless.
as a deliberate
And that
oversight.
water drop in the sink, nigga.
Deciding to probe further, they
You got
photographed
that
and
big ass
bagged
thing
the
orange juice just sitting on the counter. That don't even make sense. No
to
glass,
send
no
to
nothing. Just big ass thing orange
crime
juice.
lab,
Now, shit, that's stuff, what's it called?
hoping
Okay,
this
we
might
should have
be
been pipe milk.
closer to understanding the sequence
Come
of
that little,
events.
you know what I mean?
This piece of evidence began to shape their theories, offering a potential lead in the unraveling of the crime.
With your lord.
As the detectives wrapped up their investigation at Tashika's place, the questions loomed. Who would have wanted to kill this young mother? And what would be their motive for doing so? Seeking clarity on the
He was a
events
young
leading to
thing.
Tashika's tragic
He
death,
want that old thing
detectives
back.
swiftly shifted their focus to Alonza, asking him to come down to the station for further questioning. Complying with their request, Alonza left his son to
Yeah, you
take
think
care
he's
of
smarter than
Tashika's
everybody. I'ma go.
and went to the station.
You know you did that shit.
At the station,
You got with the
he was led
family
into
like
an
you ain't that
interrogation
shit.
room, where he fully cooperated, though he was clearly distressed. The detectives began establishing a timeline, asking, "When did you last talk to Tashika?" Alonzo recounted that their last conversation was around 7 p.m. the previous night. He explained that Tashika had agreed to pick up their son at his mother's house by 12:30 p.m. the following day, after his weekend visit. He then detailed his own movements, noting that after arranging this with Tashika, he dropped his son off at his mother's home and spent the night at his girlfriend, Janelle's place. "Were you there all night?" the detectives pressed, to which Alonzo confirmed, yes. He continued explaining that he returned to his mother's house the next morning, only to find that
They
Tashika
got my
had not
business,
picked
I
up
ain't
their
a-
son.
I ain't an
After
Israelite, none of
unsuccessful
that shit.
attempts to
You
contact
said, I
her,
thought you
he
was
packed
gonna
up
get
his
the son.
son's belongings
He said he
and
gonna
drove
go
to
out
Tashika's
and she not pick
apartment.
up the son.
Upon arrival,
So he
Alonzo
grandson.
said he became unsettled, finding her front door unlocked.
But
He
first
said
say you
he
yelling
entered
through the door.
and made the grim discovery of Tashika's body on her bedroom floor. Alonzo explained that he immediately ran outside to call 911. When the detectives asked, "Did you check on her?" Alonzo responded that he
Yep.
did not.
You know that.
Concerned for his son, he didn't want the child to see
Yes,
his
he
mother
did.
in such a state, so he quickly picked him up and ran out of the apartment. The detectives then directly asked Alonzo, "Are you involved with Tashika's death?" Taken aback by the accusation, he firmly denied any involvement, asserting, "No, there is no way."
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Keen to
fuck
clear
it
any
is. Oh, you
suspicion,
know.
he readily agreed when the detectives requested a DNA sample. Eager to
My life
demonstrate his
sad. Imagine how
innocence,
sad
he
your life
also
gotta be to be
allowed
sitting
them
here
to take
watching
his
a sad
fingerprints
nigga
after the
life.
DNA swab was
Which means
completed.
your life is pathetic.
Throughout the
Why
interview,
them pray, but we
the
bring that
detectives found
motherfucking juice
Alonzo
card.
to be cooperative and his responses compelling. Yet they remained cautious in drawing conclusions. To probe deeper, they inquired about his current relationship with Tashika. Alonza explained that although their romantic relationship had ended, they maintained a cordial rapport for the sake of co-parenting. Then the conversation shifted, as detectives asked Alonza if he could think of anyone who might have wanted to harm Tashika.
It was a new nigga.
Alonza expressed doubt, noting that Tashika was well loved, but he suggested that they speak with Lisa, one of Tashika's closest friends from work. He mentioned that Lisa would be privy to any personal conflicts or drama in Tashika's life, given the amount of time they spent together. Although the detectives conducting the interview found Alonza somewhat credible, their colleagues observing from another room were not convinced by his account. The detectives, who were watching the interview behind a two-way mirror, felt Alonza's statements and behavior were a bit inconsistent. At points during the discussion, he would become uncontrollably emotional and then would abruptly stop. They felt like he was pretending to cry.
You'll get
Seeking
the
to
zap.
corroborate Alonza's statement,
Then
they
be
reached
running
out to his
and
girlfriend
say,
Janelle concerning Alonza's whereabouts
Yeah,
around the time of the
the
murder.
line, guys.
She confirmed that he was indeed there with her that night, watching a movie. She said that they went to bed
Guess
around
he wasn't
midnight
there that
and
morning.
that he left her place to go to his mother's the next morning.
Okay.
Alonzo's account appeared to check out, leading the detectives to release him. However, he was not yet cleared of suspicion pending the
Well, I
results
think
of
we'll
the
say
DNA test.
they gonna go ask mom.
And
Mom,
there was a chance Janelle
time
might
along
have
to
been
y'all. You ain't get there about 3.
But given his somewhat
Told
disingenuous
you you going
demeanor
early next
during
morning.
this interview,
You went a while. You got his
detectives
pull.
felt strongly that
Killed the
Alonzo
girl.
had something to do with Tashika's death, and he had no
That's what
idea
happened.
just how much evidence detectives had collected from the scene. The detectives made a concerted effort to gather
Why
statements
about
from everyone
what's going
connected
in
to
the
the
last
case,
6 hits? You
including Diane,
watching my shit
Tashika's
so
mother.
bad.
At the police
You
station,
must wanna
they
hit.
extended their condolences. We are sorry for your loss,
You see
ma'am.
all the smoke.
Can you think of anyone who might
You ain't see
want
me
to
complain,
harm
but
your
my
daughter?
hands are little burning. Why
Diane
you worried
responded,
about it?
no, describing Tashika as the
Only niggas that
most
worry about
loving
other
and
niggas
generous
smoking weed
person
is
in the
niggas that
world.
ain't got no weed to smoke.
Seeking more specific information, the detectives probed further.
You had your own weed to
What
smoke,
about
guess
Alonzo?
what? You'll be
Do you
smoking.
think he could have done
Not worrying
anything to
about how many
her?
hits I got left on the block.
Diane emphatically stated, no way, they had their issues, but he wouldn't do something like this. When was the last time you saw Tashika? They continued. We were shopping just yesterday, Diane recalled. She was her usual happy self, excited to pick up her son the following day. The
Fucking with your
detectives
ass.
then asked, did Tashika have any other
I'm not
plans
killing
for
no
the
bitch,
evening?
man. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Diane
Yes.
replied, she did mention that she might be hooking up with someone, a guy she started seeing sometime around
It's
April.
on.
Do you know how to contact this new guy? The detectives asked, to which Diane replied, no. Seeking to identify Tashika's new romantic interest, detectives shifted their focus to analyzing the evidence they had collected from her apartment. The detectives had lifted a number of fingerprints from the scene, the most important of which came from that orange juice container found in the kitchen.
I still think
They
it's
also
your way.
recovered DNA from Tashika's shirt and obtained additional DNA from under her fingernails.
Oh, yeah, somebody
The
going to prison.
detectives knew they would have to wait for some time for the lab to develop the DNA profile, but they anticipated the fingerprint results
Show you
to come
right.
back pretty quickly. While they awaited the results, the detectives decided to take another listen to the 911 tapes.
I don't even know what the fuck
They
that
harbored
even means.
intense skepticism about Alonzo. While listening, the detectives had an overwhelming suspicion that it was rehearsed. During the call, Alonzo suddenly didn't know where Tashika lived. The detectives thought, this is the mother of your baby.
Fuck you when you
don't
live like
know
y'all
the
big
address
covert.
to where she lives.
I don't know where the
To
bitch
gain
live.
further insights, detectives then turned their attention to Tashika's
And
neighbors.
you're lying.
who
You just told us to go
reported
to the bitch house.
Reports
In
from
fact, you the
residents
nigga-
of her apartment
how you know where the
complex
bitch live? You the one found the
indicated
bitch
that
dead. It's
Tashika
crazy.
had been seen visibly distressed in the parking lot the night before her murder, engaging in a heated conversation with a male driver of a beige sedan. Further investigations
Baby
led to
father.
another resident who reported hearing shouting and
I
yelling.
don't know what nigga in the
around
car
the same
yesterday,
time.
last night.
The neighbor indicated that it was about 10:45 p.m. before the news of
Oh,
anything
man.
happening to Tashika. Although this neighbor was unable to provide a visual description of the man in the tan car, detectives diligently recorded this information in their growing case file, considering it a potentially significant lead. Unfortunately,
Okay.
the lead turned out to be a dead end, prompting detectives to refocus their attention on the leads derived from Alonzo's statement.
Okay.
With Alonza's insights in mind, the detectives shifted their focus to Lisa, the friend he had mentioned as being most knowledgeable about
Alonzo trying to pass the buck on this
personal
one.
life. Eager to gather more information,
I was talking about
they
asking best
decided to
friend
bring
like this
Lisa
person.
in
No,
for
ask
questioning.
your ass, motherfucker.
When Lisa arrived, she revealed that Tashika had recently started seeing someone new, a man Lisa herself had introduced to her. What is his name? The detectives asked. Upon inquiry, Lisa immediately provided the detectives with the contact details for Tashika's new romantic interest. His name is Anthony, she said. Do you have his number? The detectives asked. Yes, she replied. Then the detectives promptly brought Anthony in for questioning. Anthony was cooperative and composed during the interview. How long have you and Tashika been seeing each other? The detectives asked. It's been about a month or so, Anthony replied. The detectives pressed further, inquiring if their relationship had been sexual, to which Anthony responded, I wanted to, but we never got to that point. When asked about the last time he saw Tashika, Anthony noted, it's been a couple of days, around June 5th. He detailed that they had spoken on the day she was murdered, planning to meet at her day out shopping with her mother ended early enough. However, he fell asleep and never heard back from her. Anthony maintained that he had been at his mother's house that day and had called Tashika from there. He said that his mother could verify his whereabouts. In line with the detective's request, Anthony provided a DNA sample and fingerprints and was allowed to leave after his mother confirmed his alibi.
It wasn't you, I know. With the baby father.
Sent the samples to the crime lab for
Of course, the
analysis.
mother.
And then you never get that person. If you was all sexually involved,
The detective
I wanted
subpoenaed
to.
his and Tashika's phone records,
It's
and
gonna
Yeah,
kill him right
everything
here.
to them seemed to match.
It's gonna kill him right here.
3 days had passed, with no solid leads in Tashika's case. However, on the 4th day, detectives received a peculiar piece of evidence that redirected their focus squarely back to their prime suspect,
My nigga.
Alonzo. It was 4 days after their initial interview with Alonzo when detectives received an unexpected call from him, claiming to have found something significant at his mother's house. Alonzo asked that they come over right away.
Now
When
you
the
find,
detectives
do that.
arrived,
now you find
Alonzo said
evidence
that
and
his
shit.
sister
Good
discovered
job. Your
a
mama.
letter hidden in the baby's bottle bag.
I found the letter hidden in the bottom of the baby bag.
The letter his sister found in his son's bottle bag,
Yeah,
which
bitch.
read, "Watch your back. We're going to get you." Signed with a single initial, Q. The discovery of the letter was perplexing for detectives, who were particularly suspicious about why it had taken 4 days to
Check this
surface
out, guys.
when Alonzo's son had been in his care since
Yeah.
Tashika's murder.
She already had,
Despite
you
their
already had the
initial
baby
doubts,
overnight.
they sent the letter for forensic
Anybody get their
analysis.
baby, when you get the house, you gonna take all shit on the
When
baby
results
bag.
came back,
You had your baby for 4 days after the fuck that she done already been murdered. You mean tell me you ain't never looking in the baby bag all this time, guys? Then you find a real letter, bitch, yeah, bitch, we gonna kill you. Nigga, that's some shit you typed up, you goof motherfucker.
Signed Q in the baby's bottle bag was baffling. And even after its discovery,
That's a
no
nigga scared to
one
death, now you
explained
panic,
how
just
it
doing dumb
happened
shit.
or who Q
I
might
found
be.
some evidence.
So detectives exhaustively searched for and interviewed any
They tell us
individuals
about
with a
it,
name starting with the letter Q. But these efforts
Hell, no, he just told us some
I
shit.
know, I'm just saying, that's really, he
someone close to Alonzo might have planted the letter to misdirect the investigation. Rather than diverting their attention, the letter only intensified the detectives' suspicions of Alonzo. They began to speculate whether
You
it
should have
was a
been to
deliberate
that.
attempt.
Then when you get the
to
baby
be
home, you gotta take the milk and shit out of the baby
Given the
bag
known details
and
of
put it in the
Alonzo
refrigerator,
and
bitch.
Tashika's tumultuous
What are you talking about? We gotta take the wipes and pat below the bag,
Just
bitch.
call out the clear blue sky, 4 days later, or how many days
questioned
later,
if these personal conflicts could have escalated to violence.
I found his letter in the
They
baby
pondered
bag. What?
whether Alonzo, unable to cope with the breakup,
It's crazy.
might have been
Oh, man,
driven
this
to
shit
a
4
point
days
where
ago,
he could
nigga.
not let
Find the
Tashika
letter
go.
in the baby bag. It's
Ultimately
crazy. 4 days ago. It's
murder.
crazy.
Then the detectives would receive a call that would change the course of the investigation. The call came
Right,
from
fuck
Anthony,
Baltimore.
Tashika's new man. He had remembered something particularly crucial. When the detectives answered, Anthony recounted an incident a few days before Tashika's murder, when he was at her place and her phone kept ringing. Tashika consistently ignored
He
it.
answered that bitch.
When Anthony inquired if she needed to answer it, she dismissed it. And later that
And you don't keep calling him.
as
Bitch, you gonna answer your phone, you must be with that nigga.
leaving, he heard
No,
loud
that's
banging
a
on
new
her
nigga.
door.
That's a new
Tashika
nigga.
seemed to
I'm calling.
recognize the person, but brushed it off as a drunken annoyance. assuring Anthony that there was no need for him to return. The identity of the person at the door remained unknown to Anthony. For detectives, the mysterious cue in the letter and the unidentified man at Tashika's door complicated the investigation further. As detectives delved deeper, Anthony speculated that the man at the door was likely Alonzo, troubled by Tashika moving on with someone new. This lead gained credence when detectives revisited Alonzo and his girlfriend Janelle's statements. They had claimed to be asleep throughout the night of the murder. But this new timeline suggested that Alonzo might have had the opportunity to visit Tashika's apartment, commit the crime, and return without Janelle noticing.
Exactly.
On the morning of June 8th, the situation intensified when the detectives went to the medical examiner's office in Baltimore to view the autopsy.
You killed that pretty bitch in Baltimore, bitch.
I was on Baltimore Street.
I would fucking kill you. I wish I'd have found it. I wish I'd have found it. I'd have fucked you up, cuz.
Into Monday morning on June 7th, the time frame when Alonzo claimed to be asleep. As the medical examiner handed over the fingernail,
Time out again, guys.
she also told the detectives that strangulation is a method of causing death that typically requires about 4 minutes to be fatal. It is a very intentional and personal manner of death. This, coupled with the cryptic letter, cast further doubt on Alonzo's alibi. Shortly after, the detectives received a tip that appeared to be the breakthrough they had been hoping for in the case. The detectives received an anonymous tip claiming Alonzo had mysterious scratches on his body, suggesting a struggle might have occurred between him and Tashika. Given the
I'm just
haunting
gonna stop and
evidence,
see which one it is. They don't take you no. Oh, this is the one we got EG, right?
Yeah.
It's called After Finding a New Man. I'm sitting over my
and discrepancies in his story,
Yeah.
the detectives decided to bring
You
Alonzo
wanna come bring me
in for
or?
another round of questioning,
Oh, you give me like
hoping to
one.
uncover the
I'm
truth behind
just
Tashica's
get back up. I'm
tragic
just
death.
gonna lay down. I'm just
When
gonna
Alonzo was
rock.
brought into the interrogation
Yeah.
room, they noticed a deep gouge on the nipple of his right index finger. Upon observing this, they wasted no time confronting him about the scratches observed on his hand. Caught off guard, Alonzo claimed ignorance about their origin. To further inspect, the detectives requested he remove his shirt. This revealed a long, deep scratch along his lower back at the waistline. He also had a scratch on his wrist and another significant scratch under his right bicep.
You gonna prison.
When pressed for an explanation, Alonzo was unable to provide one. Faced with this physical evidence, the detectives directly expressed to Alonzo their belief in his involvement in Tashika's murder, but Alonzo maintained his innocence, denying any role in the crime. When detectives proposed he take a polygraph test, Alonzo refused.
I'm not taking no
By this
motherfucking
time,
polygraph,
Alonzo had retained
bitch.
an who advised he could talk to them, but he would not submit to a
Motherfucker, when I take
polygraph
the
test at that
polygraph,
time.
better kiss
Several
my
days later,
black
Alonzo
ass.
called the detectives, attempting to explain the scratches on his body by claiming they resulted from rough sex with his new girlfriend Janelle.
Rough sex from my new
However,
bitch.
when
Rough
detectives
sex from my new
questioned
bitch.
Janelle
Oh,
about
rough
that
sex
night,
from my new
they
bitch.
directly asked her if
He
she
said, what happened to all them scratches? That come
Janelle
from rough
expressed
sex with my new bitch.
stating she didn't believe
Yeah,
she
line
had
my
scratched
verse.
him. Alonzo continued to insist that the scratches were a result of
I ain't
human
gonna see,
activity,
I'm
but his
sitting
insistence only served to make the detectives more skeptical. This inconsistency added to their suspicions and led them to scrutinize Alonzo's involvement more closely. Despite these developments, detectives still lacked sufficient evidence to arrest Alonzo.
Still like
So,
sufficient
they
evidence.
focused their investigation on the forensic evidence collected at the crime scene, particularly the orange juice container found out of place at Tashika's
The
apartment.
motherfucking orange juice
Finally,
container.
the crime lab had returned the fingerprint analysis from the container.
Yeah, I'm about to put
One
it
set
together now,
belonged to
buddy.
Tashika, but the other set was unidentified. It didn't match Anthony, nor did it match Alonzo. Baffled by the results, the detectives ran the prints through the national
Put it together
database.
now, buddy.
But to their surprise, no matches were found,
I
leaving
gotta
the
trust
detectives
you
at a
for a second.
standstill and compelling them to
Yeah,
continue
we'll
to
have it
search
centimeter
for more
every second.
definitive evidence linking the unknown fingerprints to the perpetrator.
Whatever that even
Meanwhile,
means.
detectives brought in Danielle, Tashika's best friend since 6th grade, for questioning. They asked her about the last time she saw Tashika. Danielle recalled that on June 6th, the night before the murder, Tashika had visited her around 8 p.m. Together, they watched part of an NBA Finals game. About 30 minutes later,
Did the
she
motherfucking
was
friend do it?
to pick up Chinese food before heading home to wait for her son's return.
She might have did that
the following
shit.
morning. She last saw Tashika around 9 p.m.
That shit ain't matching neither one of the niggas
When
orange
asked
juice.
if it was also the last time they spoke, Danielle confirmed it was.
It might have been his
The
best
following
friend.
morning, according to Danielle, Alonza had called her in a panic because Tashika hadn't shown up to collect their son as planned. This prompted Danielle to start making calls in an attempt to locate her friend, while Alonza headed to Tashika's apartment.
They on it, shorty.
The detectives then inquired about the nature of Tashika and
Trying to,
Alonza's
man.
relationship, particularly if they were getting
Cool.
along. What Danielle would say next deepened the
Oh, I don't
detectives'
know. He was
suspicions
upstairs. I
about
let her take
Alonza.
facts.
She described Alonza as clingy and jealous.
Oh, well, yeah, because when I was sitting up here getting facts, guys, he was upstairs with Christian. He was upstairs.
She revealed that although everyone believed they were getting along, the reality was quite different. They were actually not on good terms. Danielle revealed that Alonza was trying to reinsert himself into Tashika's life, viewing Anthony as an
What's
obstacle.
up with you? Yeah, cash out me $1. Help a brother out. I really need $5. I need $5, Buster.
Alonza persisted and even
Yeah, I
resorted
need
to
$5,
stalking
man.
her,
Help a brother out,
including
buddy.
unexpected visits
I do
to
need
check if she was
$5.
at home.
Everybody cash at me $1
According to
too right
Danielle,
there. Y'all see the
Tashika
cash
wanted
app.
nothing to
The
do with
cash app is
Alonza
pinned right
unless
there.
it
Help a
concerned
brother
matters
out. I
relating
need
to her son.
$5. Help a
Following their
brother out.
interview with
I need
Danielle,
$5.
the detectives were convinced that Alonza
Help a
was
brother
involved
out.
with Tashika's murder. However,
You need
the results of the
$5. Help a
fingerprint
brother out. Y'all
analysis
see the
raised
cash app right
questions.
there.
They began to wonder
Everybody
if he
send $1.
might have had an accomplice. Danielle's statement
It's only
supported
three
the
of y'all in here. Send
possibility that
$1 or
the
3 of y'all.
mysterious man Anthony heard at Tashika's door could indeed have been Alonza. Her statement gave further credibility to the theory that Alonza's unresolved feelings and intrusive behavior might have played a
Unresolved feelings is
significant role
crazy.
in the
You
situation.
got a whole nother bitch.
Detectives now question the truthfulness of Alonza's alibi,
I'm
which, though
questioning that
supported
shit
by
too.
his girlfriend Janelle, only covered
questioning
them
that shit
being
too.
asleep
I
during the
understand
critical
this nigga
time frame
Alonza.
when Tashika was killed.
He's a bitch.
Although witness accounts were increasingly pointing towards him, the absence of forensic evidence directly linking Alonza to the crime scene left the case
I'm good,
unresolved.
man. I'm trying to get y'all to
The
help a brother
fingerprints
out,
from the
man.
orange juice container
Everybody send me $1. I only need
with
5.
one set
Send me
belonging to
$1.
Tashika and the other
Help a
unidentified
brother out.
and not matching Alonza. The investigation was at a critical
Send me
juncture,
$1. Help a
requiring
brother
further
out, man.
evidence
Help
to
a brother out.
definitively link Alonza to the murder
Who really
or
get
clear
it?
his
Who
name.
really get it? Y'all really
And the
get it?
detectives
Not me.
still awaited the DNA results from the clippings of Tashika's fingernails, which had yet to
Little bit of
return
gizzy,
from the
nothing
lab.
busy.
In the meantime, the detectives were able to secure a
Yes, nothing
warrant to
mass.
search Alonza's apartment, where they discovered
grass,
what appeared to be
mass,
blood
ass
on
blast.
his sock, hands, and shoes. There was even blood in one of his drains. They promptly swabbed the drain, collected the samples, and sent them to the crime lab for analysis.
Ugh.
Detectives also seized a computer tower from the residence. Armed with
yeah.
these suspicions, detectives brought Alonza in for questioning a third time. In this session, Alonza agreed to a polygraph test, which he subsequently failed. According to the detectives, his answers were evasive and inconsistent, further casting doubt on his credibility, particularly concerning his whereabouts on the night of the incident. During the interrogation, Alonza's account began to unravel.
Smash that like button. Y'all don't want to send me $1. Help a brother
The
out.
entire night at his girlfriend Janelle's
Smash
house.
the button.
However,
Hit that like button so we
under
can
pressure,
share.
he admitted that after watching
Get more
TV
people in here.
with
Hopefully other people
he
I get.
switched cars with his cousin Kevin
Yo,
to
let a
go
brother
out,
get $1.
supposedly
I
for a
only need
date
$5
or
bucks.
another engagement.
Y'all
This
always tell me how
revelation
poor I am,
raised
so help a
significant
poor person
suspicions
out.
among the investigative team. Janelle corroborated part of Alonza's story, stating that he was present when she was asleep at midnight and was again beside her when she woke up at
Let me
4:30
get a
p.m.
motherfucking $1, please.
However, she could not account for his whereabouts
Get a
during the
motherfucking
intervening
$1,
hours.
please. I would
Period.
appreciate you,
Alonza now
please.
admitted to being awake, despite previously claiming he had not left. This inconsistency, combined with his polygraph results, deepened detectives' doubts. They recalled a previous tip from neighbors about seeing a beige car outside Tashika's apartment the night of her murder. When further investigating Alonza's account of car swapping, they learned the cousin's car was goldish, a shade that could easily appear beige under nighttime lighting conditions. The revelation about the car, together with the failed polygraph test, reinforced detectives' belief in Alonza's involvement. His changing stories about that night, from staying in to leaving for hours, and the suspicious
No,
car swap
what's that?
all
What's
pointed
about it?
towards a deliberate
What's that?
attempt to mislead the investigation. These elements convinced detectives that Alonzo Dennis was indeed responsible
And
for
I'll talk back,
Tashica's
nigga,
death.
where you at, nigga,
On
where
October
you at,
28th,
nigga, where
the
the fuck
investigation
you
led to a
at?
grand jury convening to examine the evidence. The grand jury has the power to
You motherfuckers
recommend
ain't
an
talking no
indictment
shit, y'all don't want
based
to
on
send me a
whether there
dollar,
is probable
help a
cause
brother
to
out.
believe
You
a
don't
crime
want to hit
was
the like
committed
button and
and that the
support it, brother.
suspect committed it.
You feel
Probable
me?
cause
And you
is
wanna
just
talk
enough
about what I'm
evidence to
doing.
make it more
I'm ready to
likely
get out.
than not that a
I smoke my
suspect
reefer, how
committed the
about you,
crime.
buddy?
Given
Let my other reefer breathe a little bit, you feel me? Trying to watch this show, it's taking long as shit. I want to get to the end of it and see why this nigga killed his bitch. You feel me? If you don't mind. And we got another thing of the zippies. The zippy Miss Kirby's. Or Skippy Miss Kirby's. A little bit of reverse, a little bit of reverse. A little bit of reverse. Get your lungs right. Get your lungs right. But for the record, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Given the weight of the circumstantial evidence and the preliminary identification of blood on Alonzo's clothing, in the month of November, the grand jury indicted Alonzo, and detectives obtained a warrant for his arrest. Police arrested Alonzo during a traffic stop without incident, a development that completely blindsided Tashica's family.
I'm not going back to work today.
Diane, who had until
I'll go back to
then
work today.
regarded Alonzo almost as a son,
Shit.
was particularly shocked by the news.
I need her to take me
In the
back to the
aftermath,
fucking program.
Diane was granted temporary custody of her grandson, ensuring he remained
I
carefree within the family during this tumultuous
I
time.
thought she did tell me she was
2 months later, in January 2005, while Alonzo remained in custody, the awaited forensic results finally came in. The detectives had no doubt the DNA would link Alonzo to the murder. However, in a stunning development, the DNA from Tashica's fingernails and shirt did not match. It was not Alonzo. Furthermore, the substance found on his clothing was identified not as Tashica's blood, but as animal blood. Faced with these new findings, authorities had no choice but to dismiss charges against him and release Alonzo from jail. The revelation shocked Tashica's family and friends, plunging them into grief as they struggled with the reality that the investigation was, in effect, reset to its beginning. When not facing these troubling results, prosecutors were tasked with making a challenging decision regarding how to proceed with the case. Determined not to lose hope, friends and family gathered resources to offer a $5,000 reward for any information that could lead to the apprehension of the killer. The detectives shared this disappointment, but wasted no time expanding their efforts. It was a huge blow for them. In response, the detectives were determined and made every effort to leave no stone unturned to get to the answers of the case. They immediately began collecting DNA samples from everyone within Tashica's social and familial circles, hoping to find a match that could lead them to the murderer. Despite these exhaustive efforts, no matches were found, leaving the case frustratingly unresolved and casting a cloud of uncertainty over how to proceed. Despite strong beliefs that the perpetrator was someone close to either Alonzo or Tashika, the case seemed at risk of remaining, leaving everyone involved feeling increasingly unsettled and desperate for
I
answers.
both when they
Months passed without any new leads in the investigation of Tashika's murder. Then on September 14th,
This is the same thing what happened, yo.
a year and 3 months
I
after
don't
the
know, they
incident,
still like the nigga up there.
detectives
Well, they like my,
received
they did it, but, yeah, they wasn't here, yeah.
orange juice container, which detectives strongly suspected might be crucial to the case, indeed, a pivotal piece of evidence. The state police crime lab called to report a match for the fingerprint found on the orange juice container in
Oh,
Tashica's
shit,
apartment.
brother.
The print belonged to a man named Richard Blanks,
Richard
who had
Blanks.
recently applied for a job where fingerprints
You seen that pretty bitch and you raped the dirty motherfucker.
into the system and soon after flagged as a match. This discovery set detectives on a rapid
Killed that
quest
pretty
to
ass little
uncover
girl,
who
yeah.
Richard Blanks was.
He
and his
probably
possible
wanna do it to
connection to Tashika.
Came over there, I got some juice.
Detectives found that Richard had previously lived in Cambridge and had no criminal record. He graduated from South Rochester High School in 1986 in Cambridge and served in the United States Marine Corps from 1986 to 1990, then moved around to find work before returning to Cambridge. Until this point, Richard's name had not surfaced in the investigation, but it didn't take long
Shoulda
for
surfaced, shoulda locked Richard the fuck up.
Fuck Richard.
Richard was the longtime boyfriend of Tashika's friend from work, Lisa Pender, with
Lisa.
whom he fathered 2 children.
That
This
home
raised
girl, he
questions
came
of
over
whether
there
the presence
and
of
break
Richard's
that bitch show.
fingerprint on the orange
He probably
juice
thought, get some
was
pussy.
sufficient to consider him a suspect. Given the friendship
Oh, that's
with
like she
Tashika
told
and
him-
Lisa,
she-
it was conceivable that Richard could have visited Tashika's
They broke up, he
apartment
was telling her,
socially
Lisa,
prior
to leave him. He fucked up
Seeking
relationship,
clarity
so he
about
came
his
over there
complaints,
probably.
the detectives swiftly brought Lisa Pender back for questioning.
What?
They began by asking if she was still in a relationship with
Nope.
Richard,
It's
to
crazy.
which she responded they had broken up.
Told him.
The detectives then inquired whether Richard knew Tashika, and Lisa confirmed that he did. She elaborated that the 3 of them would occasionally work together, sometimes at Richard's place. However, when questioned whether Richard had ever visited Tashika's
That's that
apartment, Lisa
motherfucking
was
patent,
evasive
Von Titan.
and failed to provide a clear
It's a
answer.
mixture of everything in life.
Despite Lisa's lack of direct
Call this
answers,
motherfucker
the
that
detectives
busy.
gathered enough information to secure a search and seizure warrant.
So
This warrant was
he
critical
mad
not
cause,
only to
he mad cause she got her.
but also to
break
obtain
up
DNA sample
with
from
him.
Richard,
She
which
got-
was essential to establish a link between him and the DNA found under Tashika's
Crazy, but he
fingerprint.
got mad, cause he
After
wouldn't
the
tell her, she
warrant
wouldn't
was
tell her where
issued,
she was at.
detectives brought Richard in for questioning. They immediately informed him that the interrogation was concerning Tashika's case.
I tell you, it's that motherfucking pissy. Pissy out the motherfucking Rizzy.
Muscle stimulator gave me the dream body that I always
Pissy.
wanted for weeks. These little inches was really weird.
Usually very cooperative, which led to the detectives they had apprehended the right person. To
Look at that.
avoid repeating the mistakes made with Lisa.
Like Ric Flair,
There
y'all.
was an
Told you
innocent
that.
explanation for Richard's
Fuck, I just knocked my
fingerprints
gate
on the
over.
orange juice container, so detectives proceeded.
You see what called my butt? Somebody just tried to
The
knock my whole
atmosphere
fucking gate
shifted
over.
dramatically when they informed Richard about the DNA warrant. He became agitated, hostile, and resistant. The detectives firmly reiterated that they had a warrant and that his compliance was legally mandated, emphasizing there would be consequences if he didn't
What happened?
cooperate. Eventually, detectives succeeded in collecting Richard's DNA.
Yeah, good. You
Following
better
the
pick all that
procedure,
motherfucking
they
shit up in
released
there.
him,
I'll beat the
given
shit
that
out
his
of him.
connection to the crime scene was so far only linked
Like,
through the
pass
orange
out.
juice
Yeah,
container.
they need to pass the fuck
Yeah,
out.
how they-
Considering his relationship with Lisa, there may have been a plausible reason for his fingerprints to be found at Tashika's apartment, but the detectives maintained 24-hour surveillance on him, carefully monitoring his
Rock
every
his ass.
move. They wanted to ensure they knew his whereabouts when the DNA results came in, ready to act immediately on the findings. The DNA found under Tashika's fingernails was a crucial piece of evidence. She had fought back during
Who's your
her
boyfriend?
attack, taking some of her assailant's DNA in the process.
He,
If Richard's DNA matched
I think it was
samples
because
from under
she
Tashika's
wouldn't tell
clothes,
him
it would
where the girl
conclusively
was at.
identify him as the perpetrator. Then 13 days later, the waiting ended. The crime lab confirmed that the swabs taken from 2 of Tashika's right fingernails
This
tested
nigga
positive
said
for blood
bitch,
and had
he ain't shit.
intermingled profiles consistent with that of Tashika and Richard Blanks.
Oh, the
The
cute
DNA
shit, man.
extracted from one of her left fingernails and a bloodstain on her shirt matched Tashika's DNA profile and contained a small indication of DNA from another person who could be Richard. Finally confirmed that Tashika was able
Could
to
be,
take
would
some
be,
of
should
Richard's
be,
DNA
could be,
as she
would be.
fought for
It's
her
not
life
me,
on that
bitch.
fateful morning.
I'm like R.
Armed
Kelly,
with
not guilty.
conclusive hard evidence, detectives arrested Richard Blanks on September 27, 2005,
Rock,
nearly
rock,
16
rock.
months after Tashika's tragic death. Richard Blanks
I
was
dare you,
charged
like
with
me.
first-degree murder, first and second-degree assault, and reckless endangerment. With the forensic evidence clearly
Hold on, it's
pointing to
that pack,
Richard as
shorty,
the
it's that
murderer,
pack.
detectives now face a new challenge, uncovering the motive. They needed to understand why Richard would commit such a crime against Tashika, setting the
What
stage
kind of weed
for the
this
next
is? This
phase
is
of
a
the investigation.
motherfucking hybrid.
At this point,
A mixture of
neither
everything.
Richard nor his girlfriend Lisa were cooperating with the investigation. The detectives had gleaned crucial information on another source. In November 2005, a crucial tip came in via an anonymous call that potentially answered the question of motive in Tashika's murder case. The caller revealed that Lisa had been unfaithful to Richard with a man named Michael. Detectives brought Michael in for questioning, despite his initial reluctance to receive threats from Richard.
That package, bro. I'm talking about he still called me. He hit the block no more. He still
threatening
bringing
to harm
pass
him
the
and his
fuck out.
family if he didn't in the relationship with
See,
Lisa
I'm nobody
Penda.
next to, so I'm the only one that can
Detectives
handle it.
learned that Richard had threatened
These niggas
as
lungs
he
ain't,
Michael's wife,
these niggas
and
lungs
Smith
ain't ready for
Road
that shit, for that
didn't
pussy.
stop seeing Lisa. However,
This
as
is really
serious
that
as the threats
motherfucking
were,
pussy.
it didn't
That
stop the two
motherfucking,
from
like this
sneaking
dizzy.
around. Michael disclosed that he and Lisa
This
were
motherfucking
together on the
fucking
night of
tizzy.
the murder. He recounted that on the night of
Motherfucking
Tyshia's
dizzy.
murder,
I shouldn't have been telling a lie, talking about him and Lisa was together.
he overheard Lisa pleading with Tashika not to reveal her whereabouts to
Yeah.
Richard. This information led detectives
Oh,
to
Lisa
fear
won't
that
tell him.
Richard had
Don't
gone
tell
to
him where I'm
Tashia's
at.
apartment that night in search of
See,
Lisa,
I told you.
suspecting she was with someone else.
You trying to find Lisa.
Detectives further surmised
And she-
that
Lisa on the phone telling her,
her.
look, girl, she said, don't tell him where I'm at.
Piecing together why they were questioning her or from her fear of Richard, who she described as abusive and someone she feared would take her life. To verify
Throw all that
Richard's
piece of
account,
crusty shit away that you left on that table on there too.
Tashika's phone records, confirming the call he mentioned. This call had previously gone unnoticed, as detectives had not yet ended to Lisa.
What the fuck is wrong with that guy? I don't fucking what guy,
That on the
motherfucker.
evening of the incident, Richard had made repeated attempts to contact Lisa, who did not respond.
Chosen love. Hit the
Persistent
outside
and
cash
quick
app.
succession, with some calls
Cash
lasting
app.
30
The
seconds
cash app.
and others just 10 seconds.
Motherfucking cash. Is
Most of
it?
these calls were concentrated between
Motherfucking
11
cash
p.m.
busy.
and midnight, indicating a pattern of urgent and
motherfucking
repeating
kizzy.
attempts to reach her during that hour.
It's that motherfucking
By
pack.
May
Ain't called for balloon.
2006, Richard Blank's
Coming
trial
from
was
Marcy,
underway.
son. Ain't nothing nice.
Prosecutors presented a theory that
Been in
Richard
many
had
places,
means,
but I'm Brooklyn
opportunity,
zone.
and motive for the murder. They believed that
Cough up
Richard
a
was
long way. I'm
incensed,
from Marcy,
operating for
son.
Lisa, so he went to her good friend Tashika's to find out what she knew. Tashika knew
How the
that
fuck
Lisa
you
was
mad?
seeing
Tell
someone
some
else,
shit like the
and
nigga
had
Anthony,
information
yeah.
on who this
For
friend
real,
was.
like, you don't know where your girl at. You go to her first and she know where she at. She's like, I don't know. You know where she at. You end up choking this lady because you know she.
Once inside, an altercation ensued when Richard demanded Tashika call Lisa. to
Call
find
Lisa
out
now. I know you know where she at. I don't know.
Tashika's refusal to divulge the
crazy.
information after speaking with Lisa probably escalated the situation,
That's crazy.
leading to her murder. Tashika became collateral damage in Richard's quest for revenge.
You mean to tell me you killed this lady?
Prosecutors highlighted
And you know,
that
cause she
Tashika's
won't call your
festered
girl for you
life
again.
led to Richard's DNA being left in her fingernails, and his
Cough up a
fingerprints
long way.
on
I'm
the
from
orange
Marcy,
juice
son. Ain't
container
nothing nice.
was a result of him taking a drink in a moment of exhaustion after the attack. This became a pivotal piece of evidence linking him to the crime scene. At his trial, Richard Blanks employed two defense strategies. The first was anticipated by the prosecution. He suggested that Alonzo Dennis, Tashika's ex-boyfriend, was the actual killer. However, it was Richard's second line of defense that caused a stir in the courtroom. Contradicting his statements in which he claimed never to have visited Tashika's apartment, Richard suddenly declared on the stand that he had been having an
I'll tell
affair
you
with
about that
Tashika.
motherfucker. Peasant.
The unexpected revelation sent shockwaves through the courtroom, challenging the narrative that had been established by the evidence gathered. Richard claimed from the stand that his relationship with Tashika was purely sexual, suggesting that his frequent visits were for this reason alone. Richard claimed that he had sex with her the night of her murder, but the results from Tashika's autopsy indicated otherwise. The results concluded that she had no sexual intercourse, no bodily fluids, no drugs, and no alcohol in her system. To the prosecution, however, this assertion was seen as nothing more than a desperate attempt to smear Tashika's reputation and to mitigate the evidence against him. They argued that Richard's narrative was crafted to explain away the presence of his DNA under Tashika's fingernails and on the orange juice container, rather than as a statement of fact. This line of defense particularly distressed Tashika's mother, Cheyenne, who was present in the courtroom. She was horrified to hear Richard portray her daughter in such a manner, adding to the anguish she had already endured. The prosecutor contended that Richard's shocking claims were merely further victimization of Tashika, an attempt to tarnish her memory in a bid to save himself. During the trial, the medical examiner provided crucial testimony, stating it took at least 3 to 5 minutes to strangle Tashika to death. To illustrate the violent
Now you
nature
gotta
of
strangle
her
a
murder,
bitch.
the
Yeah,
prosecutor conducted a dramatic demonstration,
gotta choke a bitch.
standing silently
Get it.
before the jury for 4 minutes, illustrating the length and violence of the
Motherfucker, get
attack.
it.
This approach proved effective.
Oh.
On May 30th, 2006, after 1.5 hours of deliberation, Richard Blanks was convicted of first-degree murder and
Damn,
sentenced
balls.
to life in prison, providing Tashika's loved ones with a sense of justice.
Balls.
However, the resolution was not to last. In 2008, an appellate court overturned Richard's conviction. The basis for the appeal was a procedural error during the trial. The court found that the prosecutor had inappropriately questioned Richard about private conversations with his lawyer, thereby violating attorney-client privilege. This decision erased the initial verdict, casting uncertainty once again
Oh,
over the
shit.
pursuit of justice for Tashika. 6 long years passed after Tashika's tragic death before preparations for a second trial got underway. With a new prosecutor taking over from the one who had resigned, the evidence from the first trial was re-examined. Determined to counteract Richard's anticipated defense that Alonza was the true perpetrator, the new prosecutor strategically highlighted Alonza's genuine distress by playing to the jury the 911 call he made, demonstrating his emotional turmoil to the jury. During this retrial, Richard attempted a different tactic. He visibly cried in front of the jury, aiming to evoke sympathy. However, the jury was not swayed by his tears. After only 6 hours of deliberation, they reached a unanimous verdict. Richard Blanks was once again convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison, providing a renewed sense of justice and relief to Tashika's family and friends. The circumstantial evidence, including the scratches and the presence of the tan car, ultimately proved to be coincidental. Alonza Dennis was found to be completely innocent of any involvement in Tashika's murder. After the charges were dropped, Alonza was able to regain custody of his son, restoring their family unit. What do you think about this case? Tashika paid the ultimate price to protect her friend. If placed in a similar situation,
Should have
would
said,
you
fuck
do the
that
same?
bitch. She's right there. You should have dropped her low. If you'd have dropped your friend low, you'll still be here. You should have dropped her low. Should have dropped the motherfucking low.
You good, bro?
That's what I would have did. I'd have dropped
Hey,
the
what happened to
motherfucking
your cat, man?
He got life.
Got it, man?
Yeah, he got life. The
Life?
orange juice. Yeah, the orange juice. He
Cursed out,
He killed the bitch and got thirsty and drunk some juice.
because the bitch wouldn't tell him where the bro was at. Motherfucker, yo.
Nope, buddy, this is what happened. My man said, I don't know what the fuck he said.
Oh my
You don't
god.
want to hide out there. It's kind of lights out there right now.
I don't know, I got
It's
motherfuckers.
raining
Give me
today?
some pants.
What's going
You
on?
know out there, lights out there right now.
Just dropped is absolutely
Oh yeah, put that on. Put that on.
What's that?
This Charleston White and this Orlando been going there. I need to see that.
Oh no, he met. Oh no, he met his match.
Yeah, yo, I seen that clip. Yo said, did you get raped?
He met his
Yo,
match.
man, get your booty hole to him. I was like,
match.
yo.
No, he
So
met
the one
his
got that video?
No, Charles
No,
White
he
met
talking about
his match.
Orlando. He said you a man getting your asshole taken. I was like, yo.
Check this out. He got, Charles White met his motherfucking match. Why you think he left? And then got me left out the interview. I said, you ain't never in your life here, nigga. I would talk Charleston White.
What y'all know who got him?
Oh yeah, you know,
Young nigga Orlando.
you know, Cam. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, you know you got somebody nervous because they gotta bring up your rape or something.
This guy, yo. Damn, I ain't know. You know, I don't like that nigga, yo. Good God, man.
He funny though. Left the on BG.
That nigga crazy right
He
there.
left the on
Fuck out of here.
Well, he did. That's my man right there.
Got Charleston the fuck right out of here. That's the first nigga ever was even out talking and shot him the fuck down and up.
Cause you know what? This nigga ain't got it. He don't sugarcoat nothing.
And it's hard to let go.